gestures and Salubri.
Gestures at the Salubri. Yeah. You're not wrong.
I can't think of anything more dramatic than non-existing.
Oh, I can, which is believing that you have been chosen by God specifically to do an activity.
Should I stop doing that? Is that gauche?
It's a little gauche.
It's also very La Sombra.
Well, the thing is, they don't
say God chose them. They say, I chose me.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the La Sombra tend to, like, not make it everybody else's problem. Like, they're not trying to interject it into every conversation.
Okay, interject it in every conversation, yes. Make it everyone else's problem. I don't know about that.
Okay, that's fair. That was my bad.
Because I think
everyone
that's
else's
their
problem,
fucking goal most of the time.
But it's not one of those, like, they've made it their entire personality in the foreground.
No, yeah, okay.
Like, it's there. It is a problem. But you can talk to them about other things before the conversation circles back to, like, how their dad is God's favorite. It's like, and then Salat said...
And then.
That's what birthday camp. I like that you're twitching while also working on your lockpick board.
I'm disappointed in myself. I just made a dude where it's my car joke.
Oh shit, you did.
Maybe we should start the episode. Hi, and welcome to Blank Body. It's a Vampire the Masquerade V5 tabletop and horror podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and as always, I'm joined by...
John.
I was going to give you a title, but you jumped right in front of it.
Oh,
so
fuck, hold on.
You don't get one now.
We'll start it over.
Maybe part 2, we'll see.
You maybe have earned your title by then. I mean, you know, good luck. Also, this is Sarah. Hello.
Hi.
Howdy.
We're talking about opening our third eye.
That'll be the bonus episode, actually.
And we're talking about how many stocks and eye drops you should invest in when you have an eye growing out of the center of your fucking face.
Yeah. Hi, this is Clan Deep Dive Salubri. I wrote in the script that I was going to shotgun a latte and scream, but I have a energy drink instead that I'm going to sip on. It is my emotional support caffeine, so we can get through this together.
I'm going to get Baja blasted.
Hell yeah. So
I had some water before we said it.
I did drink 2 giant glasses of water before this, so I don't get a kidney stone. Anyways, hi, this is part of our Clan Deep Dive series. We have covered many of the other clans previously, if you want to check that out. Pretty much all the Camarilla favorites. Got all those knocked out.
We got through the entire core book. We got through the entire core book, plus La Sombra and minus the Banu Hakim.
Yeah. So now we're having our patrons vote on the order in which I face my Destructor as we get through the rest of the clans.
Yeah, the ones we saved here are either particularly deep histories that needed some extra time, like Banu Hakim, as they are a core book clan, but they are complex and don't have as much shared history as the others do.
They're not actually a core book clan. They're in the player's guide.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
I will edit that out.
But they are a pillar. They're becoming a pillar of the Camarilla. So.
I thought they were added to the core book now. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, they're player's guide.
See, because I thought when we were playing originally, we had a Banu in our party, and I thought we were only using core book clans.
That's because
Player's Companion.
They're in the Camarilla book, and then the Ministry were in the Anarch book.
Okay.
So we had the core book and then those 2.
Okay. I always forget that they were in that. Yeah.
That's okay. So does everybody else. But anyways, so.
Hey, I love the Banu Hakim.
Me too. But I'm dealing with Salubri right now because that's what you, the patrons, voted for, which I love. I love you all. I appreciate your support. I had to... Oh, John got the lock. He did.
He's upgraded from chewing gummies into disgusting art to just practicing lockpicking.
Yeah, he's working on his larceny skill. But yeah, so I love and respect you all. The way this timed out, I had to do all this research during finals week. So if you've not seen me in the Discord, that's why. This has been my 40 days in the desert. I, much like the Lord, have suffered for your sins. Anyways.
And that's why I'm taking the next month, but we'll talk about that,
yeah.
I think, at the end of this episode. Maybe next we'll wait. Maybe we'll make him sit on it. Think about what they've done.
Yes. So part 1 of our Clan Deep Dive series will be us going over vibes, clan culture, disciplines, banes, kind of getting a feel of what a Salubri is. Part 2 will be the clan history and any major NPCs, lore sheets, things that are like kind of specific in the V5 canon. And then the 3rd episode is the bonus episode, which is going to be talking about the goddamn third eye and just Valerian/Oba as a discipline, because those were such hairy topics I couldn't stick them into the script and make it make fucking sense.
That's fair. I'm excited to actually just watch that movie Third Eye Spy. I can force that to fit the episode. That's some new knowledge I picked up.
Hell yeah.
This episode, I have a lot to say, and for the next one, I have a lot to learn because I was reading through the Salubri book, like the clan book, in prep for this.
There's so much.
Not what I expected either. Not at all what I expected from what I knew about this clan. Now, I'm a non-Dark Age player. I've never gotten a chance to play, so that's part of it.
That is valid and fair.
I can save us some time.
Yeah.
In summing up what they are.
Yeah, go for it.
A sad but very tasty little snack.
Yes.
Done. All right, we can move on.
For sure. Okay, so content warning. I'm gonna be honest, fam. I was so out of it, I forgot to write content warning specifically. But I guess the overall thing will be talking about religion and cults, and there might be some religious trauma stuff that comes up.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that. Some demonology stuff's gonna come up. So if any of that's kind of a squick for you, feel free to skip.
Demons are cool.
They can be, like, thematically, but, like, in practice,
I suppose, yeah, that's probably fair. Their whole thing is kind of being not nice friends.
Yeah. Not even friend-shaped or friendly.
No.
Not at all.
They might use the word friend.
They will, in many ways. But
Yeah.
So sources, with V5 Player's Guide, the V5 Companion, Clan Book Salubri, Lore of the Bloodlines, VTM 20th Anniversary, Player's Guide to the High Clans, 20th Anniversary Dark Ages, Veil of Night, Book of Nod, and Kindred of the Ebony Kingdom.
I was at once terribly aware of my unliving state, and yet I had little concern for it. My spirit seemed to open, and a wound on it made by my embrace was whipped into bleeding. Then did something greater than myself offer me to drink, bidding me that I should do so and without fear. This I did, and it was as though I had been brought to the embrace by everything I did hold sacred to myself. That guy talks funny.
It's from the Dark Ages.
Yeah, there's a lot of Dark Ages talking.
Yeah. I tried to find some, like, good vibe, I thought, quotes for the Salubri that wasn't that quote that's, like, at the front of the Clan Book Salubri that everybody always fucking quotes.
Yeah, so thank you, John, for those quotes.
Yeah. So anyways, the fuck is this clan? What is the vibe? What are they known for? I would say probably the biggest thing is that they're a bunch of, like, tragic paladins is the best way to kind of overall vibe check them.
Yeah, sad but noble.
Yeah!
I always view paladins as people who are, like, good at fighting.
They are.
Are they?
Yes.
I imagine them as just sad little lads.
They're a warrior caste, basically.
Yeah, there's a whole fuckload of them that are just like, I kick ass for the Lord.
Oh, cool. For some reason, I just always remember the, like, let me touch you. The clerics.
That's, the big chunk of them is, like, the clerics, and, I mean, paladins have the lay on hands.
Right, yeah.
There's a ways out, but I am, for further down the road, probably next time Sarah has finals, talking about maybe doing a second Inquisition month to tie into Hunter and stuff.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
There were, as far as I can tell, a lot of Salubri who, when this first Inquisition happened, were just like, you guys are right. We should kill all the vampires for the Lord.
Huh.
Yeah, there's that.
There's
are
hints that the La
vampires,
Sombra set all the other vampires off, but then the Salubri were just like, yeah, okay.
Huh.
At least some of them were, like, actually just holy warriors.
Yeah.
And they're like, God gave me this gift to destroy you on even footing.
Yeah,
Wild.
that
Okay.
partially causes the political problems. And then, yeah, there's the ones who picked up the sword to fight for God, to fight literal demons. Like,
Right.
it's very another metal album cover.
Cool. Vampire's good at that.
Yeah, it's great. There's a lot of really, God, I need to find time to be able to draw more, like, just weird metal album covers just based on the random shit we describe. But yeah, another big thing that people know about the clan is that they're desolated and lonely. This is definitely a clan that it's a lot of vampires thrust into an unjust and dark world, and they're just trying their best, fam.
Oh.
They don't have a lot of friends because most of them are
Want to eat them?
dead
Oh.
or want to eat them. Like, you know.
Even their friends might eat them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. It's we'll get into it. It's a lot. Hunted. That's a big thing. Either it's because people in the Camarilla have bought into or understand them to be a threat, hook, line, and sinker, and are still just like, oh, Salubri, kill it with fire. It's gonna eat your soul. They're bad.
Either that, or if people find out you're in our city, we're in trouble. Get them.
Yeah, or just like, you're gonna bring problems and I am barely hanging on by a thread to maintain this fucking city and I need you to get the fuck out. You could do that voluntarily or otherwise.
See, if I was a prince, I would just have the weirdo room.
The weirdo room?
Where the rare weirdos who show up in town, like Salubri or whatever, it's like, all right, get in there. We got a lot of talking to do.
You stay in the weirdo room.
Stay in the weirdo room till we figure this out.
And then you can leave.
You know?
I don't think that a lot of Kindred would like that very much.
Thinking about it, honestly, though, thinking about it, that might be one of the smartest moves a prince could do if Salubri showed up. It's just like, because they're just big receptacles of knowledge and lore, so you could just be like, you got one, you're like, okay, cool, we're gonna put you in the weirdo room. You are gonna be safe, I'm gonna make sure you're fed and you're taken care of. I need you to tell me so many things.
All of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, you'll be, I would be nice to them.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like, you're not just gonna wander around and get eaten by some random person.
Mm-hmm.
You have a job now, and it's to sit in this little room library or whatever and just answer any questions I might have, and you get free food and a guarantee that you won't be eaten unless you leave.
Do you want me to bring you a Game Boy?
I got a PSP Go I haven't used in like a decade.
I would imagine Salubri from the Dark Ages would be very thoroughly entertained by, like, a Switch. Just like, oh, there's a tiny world in here. Fucking giving a fucking Dark Ages Salubri goddamn Animal Crossing on a Switch. They'd fucking love the shit out of that.
Let them play Doom.
I was going to say Doom or, like, Cyberpunk. Do you think that they would just, like, have an aneurysm?
I think
a vampire aneurysm?
Cyberpunk might be a little much. Doom, though, like, Doom Eternal
They're just
also.
hunting demons.
Yeah.
They're hunting demons, yeah.
They're like, I didn't realize the demons are in the computer. That's a whole
They're
lot.
in the computer.
The files are in the computer. Anywho, so that's a big chunk of it. Being spiritual healers, not only are Salubri known for doing the strange vampire power of being able to physically mend vampires and humans, but also being able to repair spiritual and, like, mental health problems. We'll talk later about what that actually fucking means. Because depending on your interpretation and your understanding and, like, which edition of vampire you're going, this is either, like, a really cool gift from God that shows that vampires have a pathway to humanity and salvation, or these are some of the most fucked up of the vampires in canon.
Depending on how you look at it.
Depending on which way you run with this. We'll get there. It's coming.
Do you think...
Yes.
We can pause on the question if we have an answer to this later, but mending mental and spiritual ailments. Mm-hmm. What happens if you try to do that to a Malkavian?
I don't think you can overcome the bane, but by healing the mental and spiritual things mechanically results in being able to repair willpower damage.
Right, okay.
How you want to fluff that at your table is a discussion y'all can have, but it's kind of like, you know how the Zamitzi can fleshcraft, but they can't, like, fleshcraft a Nosferatu into having a mid face? Mm-hmm. It always has to be a fucked up face.
Yeah.
They can change the shape of the fucked up face.
Right.
But still gotta be fucked up. It's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
Where it's like, they can make the Malkavian feel better, but they're never not going to be unwell.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
I just wasn't sure if it was like somewhere in a deep, dark cave, there's a Malkavian and a Salubri just sitting in, like, a corner together, and those Salubri's just been like, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. And they've been doing that for like 300 years.
Absolutely 100% headcanoning that, because I'm like, that makes too much sense as a thing that is happening.
Yeah.
Because this Malkavian's like fully like, yeah, you're gonna fix it.
We got it. We got it.
Like,
we can do it.
I'm gonna do it. And they fucking can't.
And they've just, like, spiraled into each other. The Malkavian's convincing the Salubri. The Salubri's giving the Malkavian hope.
We've given you guys a 2 free storylines already.
Oh, yeah.
And we're barely into the script, so you're welcome. Speaking of the third eye, I wrote us third eye surprise. The third eye is a big fucking thing.
What?
Big fucking thing. There's a lot of complicated shit with that, and that's going to be the bonus episode. We're going to talk about it then.
I don't think we specifically mentioned it. They have 3 eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have one right in the middle of their forehead, if you haven't dealt with the Salubri before. So they pretty much have most of the problems of the Nosferatu, but that's not even their clan bane.
Like, they're
it's
hot.
A lot easier for them.
It is easier. They can cover it up.
Wear a big hoodie, or wear a big hat, or have some thick
a lot
bangs.
of beanies in this clan.
Beanies and bangs.
But what I was trying to say, though, is they do still have the can break the masquerade on sight problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count as the clan bane. That's just a bonus they get.
No, it's part of their clan bane now.
Oh, is it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Which we will get into. But these kindred are also called Cyclops, peacemakers, Dajals, soulsuckers, demon hunters, orphans, kinslayers, unicorns, shepherds, healers, or the hidden ones.
Man, it'd be really awkward if you were a Salubri at a vampire bar and somebody was trying to pick you up and it was a couple trying to pick you up.
Yeah.
You couldn't be like, I'm not your fucking unicorn. Because then they could be like, actually.
As somebody who's unfortunately had to maneuver around that social interaction more than once, it's very like, oh no. Being unicorn hunted is one of the most awkward things I've had to deal with as an adult. Because you're just like, because you have to maneuver around the ego of two people.
Yeah, there is, I will say, it's not problematic, but there is nothing more upsetting than being hit on by two people that you're not interested in. It feels like a social puzzle at that point.
I went out to go have a drink with friends, but I got pulled into this Gordian knot that I can't escape, and it's kind of sticky. But, so kind of fun little grammatical haha with the clan. So, Salubri may be pulled from the word salubrious, which defines as health-giving or healthy.
I'm feeling pretty salubrious these days.
Yeah, it was fucking driving me nuts, because I was writing the script, and autocorrect kept going to salubrious, and I was like, what the fuck is this word? So I googled it, and I went, oh, it is actually just a word. I'm not crazy. So I had to edit my autocorrect dictionary to stop autocorrecting salubrious.
I've had to do that with like every clan.
But no, all the other clans, it just gives the red squiggle of like, you spelled it wrong. This one just kept switching to a real word, and I was like, fucking stop.
Oh, you haven't dealt with ravenous yet.
That's true. I haven't gotten there yet.
It's gonna keep trying to say ravenous.
I figured to try to say raven. That's fine. So, in-clan behaviors and socializing for the Salubri. There isn't much organization, considering that there's
like 7 of them? 13.
Okay, so there's more or less? Probably slightly more than 7 and 13, and we can get into that in a bit when we get down to the bloodlines. But the big rumor is there's no more than 13. Maybe now there's no more than 7. That's the big woo spooky story all the vampires tell to each other around. I would say the campfire, but they can't be around fire, so I'm going to say the Coleman LED camp light.
Those are nice.
They are.
Blank Body sponsored by Coleman Grills. Wait, that's a different Coleman company.
That is a different Coleman company.
Give me money.
Look, we need to bully them alert people into paying us.
Do you think if a centuries old vampire woke up from torpor in his deep dark crypt and came into someone's house and they had one of those like realistic fake fires, could that trigger Rorschach? It gives off heat like fire, it looks like fire.
I would say on the first interaction, yes.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I don't see why this kindred would inherently have any concept of a fake fire immediately.
Right.
So I think after the first time, no.
He'd be like, oh, yeah, okay.
He's like, oh, I'm aware what this is.
Yeah.
But the first time, like, well, depending on the resolve and composure roll, I might just make them roll. If it's the composure and resolve are super high, I might be like, you panic for a second, but you realize that it is a faux flame.
A faux flame.
And you're fine. Anybody else, though, I'm like, nah, you gotta roll that shit.
It also depends on the size. Like, if it's just one of those little flickering tea candles, that might just be like,
that's
candle.
What?
Right.
What sorcery is this? But if it's one of those, like, bougie fake fires with the heater built in.
Yeah, I almost wonder if older vampires are better at dealing with fire just because they come from a time when that was their main source of light regardless. You know what I mean?
There's some canon stuff for that, but that might be if we do a Rorschach specific episode, I can dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I love Watchmen.
Unironically, yes, but anywho. Oh god. I'm so upset. So, with the Salubri, they don't really have much of a society to say, but they have remnants of social structures based off of previous bloodlines and castes that have existed since ancient times that kind of dropped off around the Dark Ages. I can't imagine why that would be the case. So, for millennia, the Salubri have often preferred solitude. And they often travel. Just put on the little walking feet, go to places, doing things. Typically, they'll only gather in groups for specific business, such as sires training their childer on things, or little squads to do strikeouts against infernalists and other enemies. Otherwise, they're just kind of like I'm off to go do good works because Daddy said it was a good idea. Goodbye. It's like very Pokemon trainer energy. Just like wandering around and like, I'm helping people and doing things. And a lot of times I just get got.
So a lot of times.
A lot of times they just get got because they're just by
God.
themselves.
Someone's like, "Oh, look at you! You're a cute little snack, aren't you?" And they're like, "Thanks." And they're like, "No, I
Thanks.
meant that literally."
This tabard has pockets.
With how many anti-infernals they have,
Mm-hmm.
do they tend to have a good relationship with the Sabbat? Or at least the Sabbat who were into that kind of thing?
We will get into that.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's just my first thought.
Yeah, but yeah, so they were inherently more travel-y, individualist historically anyways, and then with the persecution from the Tremere and their allies that pushed the Solitude to an extreme to the point of survivalist paranoia.
So you could play some Salubri who's like a freakish prepper out
Yes.
in the middle of fucking nowhere, like building a bunker.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of fun.
That could be fun. Absolutely. That is completely a valid thing. Or, you know, a really just tragic, persecuted, but trying to persevere kind of character.
Mhm.
Or, you know, is, like a lost Ronin kind of a trope. There's a lot of ways you can kind of parse this fucking cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Just Lone Ranger cowboy Salubri. Just traveling and just trying to help people and then, like, fucking off.
I like to imagine like every Ravnos pack has like
Mhm.
one Salubri in there somewhere.
It just, even if it's just in the
They're
context.
just traveling together. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like meandered on down the road together for a while, and then, you know, their paths separate and they tip little 10-gallon hats and go. I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on the cowboy thing.
Well, when
Cowboy
you have that much
vampires
hat,
would be cool.
when you have that much hat, you can pull it down to cover your third eye.
That's true. That's fair. Honestly, though, I love Weird West. Weird
Mhm.
West is so fun.
Been playing Deadlands recently. Such
So
a good game.
good.
So, big focus for the Salubri is purity, which sounds ick. But in this case,
Yeah.
it's not the ick. It's not the icky version of purity where people are like, you
Not
know.
Frank Reynolds crawling out of a room covered in hand sanitizer.
As funny
naked.
as that is. I was thinking more of like the 14 words kind of ick. Thankfully, no.
That's a
not
different
that.
kind of. Those are both bad kinds of
Those
purity.
are two different icks.
Yeah.
So, those who practice Valerian/Oba, which is the Salubri specific discipline from previous editions that are amalgams now, which I'll talk about when we get there. To be able to do this practice, they have to maintain a state of quote unquote purification of the spirit, or their powers would quote unquote fall prey to evil influences. So it's kind of known in the clan that they're like their powers, while super helpful and potentially do a lot of good, have problems. And if they don't try to be good noodles, other forces will peek on in there and go, "Hey, you want to fuck shit up? You should do that." So there's been inklings throughout the clan that things are not quite as squeaky clean and positive as they like to front.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not me trying to do Salubri slander. I've tried really hard to be not biased, but a lot of this research just reaffirmed a lot of my I see I see things.
You're not as sweet as you're saying.
Nuh-uh, I'm precious. I'm like, no, you're not. Stop it.
Is that like what was it? I feel like I recently listened to a podcast about like kawaii culture
Oh God,
and
yeah.
the like where it kind of came from with the like, no, we're peaceful and cute.
Mm-hmm.
We're not awful and terrible and like we didn't commit terrible war crimes.
We're gonna put this really cutesy blanket over just what we did to Korea and China.
Yeah.
Really quick?
Yeah.
Did want to note that the practices of maintaining spiritual health and all of that is supposedly the root of the practice of Golconda, which, for those who are not aware, Golconda is roughly a state of perfect balance of enlightenment between the beast and yourself.
Yeah, you correct me, but I know we've talked about it a little bit on previous episodes. We've talked about doing a whole Golconda episode.
Yes.
But I know there are multiple theories of what it is, and there's not one that's specifically said to be true as far as we know.
Yeah, I had initially thought about talking about Golconda more specifically within this episode, but there's so much fucking bullshit, I'm like, I can't. So we're just going to briefly touch on it with the asterisks of we're going to do a Golconda episode later. So,
Someday.
This series has forced me to sprout a fucking, like, feat tree of things I need to cover now in the show now that we've done this bullshit. And it's like, God damn it.
Don't worry, I'm about to make it worse.
I know. It's okay. do want to note that within the Salubri, the healers, so that these are most of the Salubri are healers, and this is the traditional, like, I lay hands upon you kind of cleric-y people. They believe that those who take up arms or do practices of war will be consumed by it, which often makes them butt heads with the warriors in the clan who do kick ass for the Lord with swords and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the warriors are like, either, nah, I can achieve Golconda and kick ass for the Lord because this is what God wanted me to do.
Right.
Or they're like, I am putting my path on Golconda on pause to defend the clan and the planet as a whole. I need you to calm the fuck down, you whiny asshole.
I will get back to it. I want to get back to it, but there's some things we gotta take care of.
I have another
first.
tour of duty I've got to finish. I signed an 8-year contract. I'll get back to it. I'll go to college after I'm done.
They said they're gonna pay for it, okay?
Kinda, yeah. It's kind of the energy you get sometimes. And I'm like, oh no. The handful of my friends from high school that, like, signed on to the military during the Iraq War, and I'm like, dude, don't do it. It's a trap. And then they're like, fuck, I'm in the sand. I'm like, I told you.
They at least get a charger?
I don't think they did.
Oh, no.
They were just giving those out for a while, weren't they?
They were.
No, they were specifically targeting them.
Yeah.
Because they priced them at exactly the same amount of money as the average
bonus.
soldier's first paycheck and bonus. And they were able to sign up, immediately buy a charger to sit in their driveway back home that they could return 2 years later.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which is why so many military people have chargers, because they were targeting them.
Thanks, Ford.
Gross.
Super gross. Hopefully what's not as gross is, while those of the clan often seek to be enlightened and to be pillars within the world and the community, they are not above grandiose ideas, egos, and ambitions that plague all of the other vampires, which is something I did kind of want to specifically touch on, because I don't know how many other storytellers in the community have run into this problem of you're bringing your friends from other tabletop systems into World of Darkness, and some of them, especially those who are used to, like, D&D and, like, high fantasy, see the Salubri, and they just try to portmanteau their ideas of paladins and clerics from those game systems onto this clan, and then have problems when you later on explain that some of the choices they have moral consequences, and therefore are going to have consequences in the plot, and then they're upset as spaghetti that they can't murder Hobo.
Right.
Because I'm the good guy, and I'm like...
You just killed 12 people, man.
Yeah, and you didn't, like, check if they were Bali or anything. You just kind of rolled in and did it. And shockingly, some of those people had friends, and those friends are upset. And I tried to explain to you beforehand that this is what the game is, and I don't know if we just had a fundamental misunderstanding of what World of Darkness is as a setting, so did want to touch on that. And it's not just a personal choice, this is just how it is also written and described in the lore by in-canon characters. Describing that, yeah, while they either are Salubri or are, like, allies of the Salubri, the Salubri themselves are not above the same petty bullshit all the other vampires are.
Right.
As much as many of them try to not, or try to put themselves on a pedestal to not behave that way. So, hopefully that makes sense for everybody. Though, kind of a nice thing, most Salubri tend to, their herds of humans for feeding with a lot more care and diligence than other vampires are known to do. Many of them see that tormenting their herd or people that they feed off of, or, like, not taking care of them and making sure that they're well, is not only just morally dubious to begin with, it also will taint the spirit and body and therefore the blood of the people they're feeding on, which will then also taint them.
Little, I'm drawing a blank now. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Toreador, where it's kind of seen as, like, gauche.
Yeah.
If you're, like, maintaining, like, a group or a...
It's not unakin to that, but instead of it just being bad practice old sport, it's a little bit more fundamental, and I would kind of put it in the vein of, like, kosher or halal butchery.
I was
makes
just
sense.
thinking that, actually.
Yeah, where it's like, well, yeah, when you're butchering this animal, you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that causes them the least amount of pain and stress. Not only just for the moral, like, this is a creature of God, I'm trying to not be an asshole, but there's also just the sins that you're committing upon this creature if you do it wrong taints the thing entirely, and then therefore you can't consume it and maintain your kind of peaceful state. So I think that's kind of just a neat cultural thing, and can give more of a reason to play around with certain predator types that people maybe don't think about. consensualist would be the easiest one to kind of mirror this, but I feel like there's some other predator types that could work within this mindset if that's something you're interested in exploring.
I know it's your least favorite, but there are even ways to do like Cleaver.
Oh yeah, Cleaver could work with this in ways
we're
that
very much like are viewing them as a family instead of like they're a family that you that you're only really predatory towards, but you're like actually watching over this family or lineage like they are your own family. And it's like a little bit like, it's more like, listen, grandpa needs a little blood, but if those bullies are mean to you again, they'll find one in a dumpster.
Oh yeah, you could do like a whole religious quote-unquote guardian angel.
That'd be
That's
cool.
like a family secret. And everyone's just like, oh yeah, no, our family's just well taken care of. It turns out there's just like a Salubri that lives in a secret room in the manor house, and they're funding everything, and they've been like managing the wealth of the family and everything for fucking generations.
I like it.
We're just spouting fucking story plots, man. I'm very proud of us right now.
That would be so cool to have like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Like, see, you have like a Venture or someone very money dealing, and there's like this one human family that just like no one seems to be able to fuck with. And you're finally like, I'm getting rid of this. They're just a human. And then you get there, and then like the Salubri comes out from behind the curtain, and you're like, oh fuck.
The tapestry pushes out of the way from revealing a medieval staircase with a guy in full fucking chainmail and leather armor, brandishing like a fucking bastard sword.
You come into my home!
And they're just like, oh shit!
I imagine it's even just that feeling of like when you run into a vampire who you can almost just sense is that much powerful and older than you. And then you see the third eye, and you're like, oh.
You came in thinking you were
this
gonna
got
be a
bad.
badass. Yeah.
This got bad, this got worse, this got, I gotta leave, man.
Just quite literally, you just like come in and feel like a badass, and then suddenly you just hear, you done goofed. And you're like, oh.
I did.
You are correct, sir. I'll take myself out. Hold on. But yeah, oh shit, I almost forgot. We all ADHD'd really hard. But on top of just the general Salubri culture, this was also a decree from Saulat that the Salubri were not allowed to feed from humans unless the blood was given freely.
So they had to be consensualist.
Yeah. Over the centuries, this kind of spread out and kind of fell into the philosophies of various belief systems and So you could have Salubris that are very like, I have to be a consensualist, this is what I have to do, and then
there's ones that actually believe in it. And
then there's, ones that maybe do go the Cleaver route, or Sandman, maybe even, where they're like only feeding on people when they're asleep because it's like the least confrontational and the least harmful way to feed. There's a bunch of ways you can parse that. So education's also a big thing with the Salubri. Holy shit, that was a learning experience for me. Pushes glasses up bridge of nose. So the Salubri often spend a fuckload of time training their childer before and after embrace. Previous centuries, sires would often spend 5 to 10 years educating their childer before a quote-unquote rite of passage ceremony would be given. This is something that doesn't really happen anymore because most Salubri are on the run and they don't really have the time to, like, dedicate to having that much of an apprenticeship kind of a time period. So it's more of a just like, all right, I got you all the skills. We're going to boot you out of here like a baby bird. Good luck, my child. Bye.
Why don't they just bring them with them, I wonder, when they're traveling? I guess 2 Salubri is even more of a problem than one Salubri together.
Yeah, there's that. And there's, it is also, isn't unheard of for a sider to send their childer to trusted allies outside of the clan for training and education. So that can also be part of it. It's like, hey, the 2 of us traveling together, real
Bad
fuck
idea.
dangerous. I'm going to drop you off with, like, my best homie, and he's going to train you for a while, and I'm going to circle back.
Right.
Hopefully.
After you can, like, take care of yourself, we can travel together for a bit.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. In the text I was reading, the Bruja, the Zamitsi, and the Banu were the most cited for this kind of arrangement. Just those 3 clans just kept coming up as this is my trusted ally.
The which ones?
Bruja, Zamitsi, and the Banu Hakim.
Interesting.
Yeah. You're just kind of like, okay.
It's a very interesting spread of clans there.
That are just like, yeah, little homie, come over here. I'll show you how to stab something.
Yeah.
I can see all of them for different reasons. The Zamits is kind of the weirdest to me.
They have a big culture of hospitality, and
That's
since
true.
a lot of this portion of the culture happened in ancient times or up to medieval times, hospitality was a big cultural thing, and a lot of hospitality rules and culture depend on housing and treating and if you're making formal arrangements for a tutoring thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Zemitzi and Salubri did, on occasion, team up to fight fucking demons and shit like that. So it's one of those, like, oh, you mean the clan that is melded into the land and has great repertoires of knowledge and things that they've hoarded? I'm like, this...
Good at fighting demons?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Hi, this person is basically a sentient library.
That's fair. That's a fair way to look at it. Like, I could absolutely see why the Bruja or the Banu would be interested in, for many reasons.
Yeah, they tend to be more educated, or have a culture of being educated as well as also fighting. So, like, that makes sense.
It does make sense, too, for the Salubri to have the kind of knowledge they have, to have trained with multiple people outside of the clan. Like, who's going to get the Bruja knowledge, who's going to get all these from other different cultures, unless you're traveling and working with people. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those, like, oh, that's neat. And not only was there a focus on the use of vampire abilities in history, there's also focus on having a very well-rounded education. So, in the Dark Ages, it wasn't uncommon for Salubri to be tutored in swordsmanship, medicine, history, religion/philosophy, because at the time those two were basically the fucking same.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of different languages. Most Salubri speak to each other in Enochian. Yep. And then...
Okay,
yeah,
wow.
right. And then they have Hebrew as their backup secret language.
Hell yeah. That's kind of cool.
It's kind of neat, but it's also just like, yeah, because the Tremere end up having Latin as a secret language.
Good job, guys.
Good job, guys. Pick the basic bitch secret language answer. Good job.
I think you can get that translated online these days.
Yeah. So before you guys get your Enochian tattoos, make sure you run it past the Salubri to make sure it doesn't say anything stupid.
Try to get in Enochian, warrior of God. It says love watermelon.
Yes.
You really are liking that watermelon drink you got, aren't you?
It's good.
It's on your brain. I can tell.
Yeah, the major melon.
It definitely has some major melony taste.
Okay, I'm
I'm
glad
gonna
you're
put my lockboard down now that I've
fiddled with it enough. Perfect.
Sorry.
Due to this very thorough training, many Salubri act as lore keepers, teachers, and sages, often traveling around the lands to continue gathering their education and enlightenment. And
As you do.
yeah, so if you just want to be a wandering nerd as a Salubri, completely valid. Or just a vessel of forgotten lore and which might be another reason why you get haunted, because they're just like, hey, so I've been seeing all these weird signs of Gehenna. I don't know what the fuck this is, and all the elders have fucked off. If you bring me a Salubri, I'll owe you a life boon, because I need fucking answers.
Yeah.
And poor Salubri's just like, I'm sorry, I've been in a monastery for centuries, and I made a mistake going outside. That was my bad. And now I'm here, and I don't want it. I just imagining a little monk outfit. He thought it was slick, but it's like fuck the 2000s. You can't just be walking around as a monk. That's
just about as bad as just showing your third eye.
Yeah, it's like third eye, shaving that like dumb circle on the top of his knob, and yeah, it's a whole thing. But a sense of duty is also a big thing with Salubri. Most Salubri hold a strong sense of some sort of a cause of some fucking sort. You could leave this up to interpretation for yourself. In the canon, most hold healing the body and the soul in like a super high regard. Often that's their cause, their joie de vivre, if you will. These vampires will spend their nights among the broken and forgotten to bring them solace, whether it be vampire or mortal. And this will often put them into a lot of contact with the Malkavians and the Nosferatu.
No.
Yeah, they're just like, oh dear, it's broken. Come here, child. Let me fix you. And Malkavian's just like, I like friends. Sure. This is fine.
I'm always down.
Yeah, and for Nosferatu, I think it might just be like, oh, okay, they want to actually be my friend, or this one's full of secrets. I feel like that relationship can kind of go a couple of different ways. But also, it's just like, it feels like a call out that Salubri's like, I want to go help the most broken people. Hello, Nosferatu. And Nosferatu's like, hey, I'm fine.
Hold on, man.
Hey, man, my face is just fucked up. Like, I'm fine.
You seem pretty grumpy, though.
Do you know how many Malkavians are in the city you could be helping right now?
Yeah, it's like... just a fucking smash cut of several different Malkavians across the city while Sarah McLachlan plays over them.
That would be the worst inconvenient / big bad for a campaign. Just like a Salubri who's determined to fix your like coterie.
Oh,
He's like, but they need my help. They don't understand that I'm helping them.
No,
you
thanks.
strayed off of the path.
No thanks.
Oh god. I'm loving this antagonist though, where they're just like, I'm genuinely trying to save your soul, like literally. And you're just like, are soul even real? Like what the Does this poor Salubri cannot comprehend postmodernism at all?
And also, I like because we're joking about certain clans, but depending on their philosophy, like they could easily be like, the Venture are obviously the most broken. All they care about is money and power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They've lost anything. They've given up all their godliness for worldliness.
That's true. Oh, fuck.
Like a Salubri as a villain would be terrifying if you wrote them right.
If you wrote it correctly, depending on the vibe. Oh my god, I love it.
There's nothing scarier to me than a villain who thinks they're doing the right thing and doesn't understand why you don't appreciate that.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it is a very scary concept, but man, Three Stooges logic would beat them because you can't block a triple eye poke.
That's true.
You'd have to do some weird ass formations with your hands. So you just use 3 fingers, fasha, poke all 3 eyes at once.
I feel like if I put one hand between my eyes and over the top one.
Well, at that point, so if you're putting your hand like a knife, the Three Stooges classic, and you're putting it over your forehead and your nose a little bit to like protect your 2 eyes, at that point, instead of trying to do the 2-finger poke to get the 2 standard set, I would just fucking tiger palm your hand that's doing the knife thing to just bap your 3rd one.
Yeah.
Well, you can place it right on. Anyway, this is an incredibly
I
dumb
guess
argument.
if they had an orbital socket there.
The 3rd eye doesn't though.
It doesn't?
No, not
Where
really.
the fuck does it sit?
Just like right in the center of your
How
forehead.
does it not
It
just
sticks
plop
out a little bit because they're vampires. That's the caveat, I guess.
Yeah, so the fun
There's
thing...
not a hole in the skull.
I mean, there's like...
There's got to be. I think
has
there's
to be.
images of a Salubri skull with a hole in it in one of the books.
The art is drawn for Salubri. There's not a brow ridge.
Oh, right.
So, like,
right.
there's a socket for the eye to exist in, but there's not a brow ridge. So if you're trying to protect it a la the Three Stooges way,
You're already poking an eye.
your hand is going to be touching that 3rd eye. So all I have to do is just, like, bap it.
Maybe it's like...
So you don't want to use what I like to call the curly method.
Yeah, no.
Maybe it's like frogs.
What?
Where their big ass eyes can just like sink all the way down and into their skull, like because they have room in like the back of their sinuses and head for like their eyes to into.
It'd be easier for them to hide that 3rd eye then.
That would make sense.
It's why they can just throw beanies on all the fucking time.
Depends on how you're interpreting the physics and the bane, but we'll get to that. Also, wanted to note, while this desire to help seems really cool and good, it also makes them real easy to get tricked by the Tremere to show up and get slaughtered. That happened to a lot of them. It's just like, I'm out helping the people. And then just a Tremere in like a kind of dirty cloak was like, I need help. I am the people. And they go, oh dear friend. He's like, yes, please. Get into this cart. It's the Dark Ages, so I can't say, get into this van. They don't have vans yet. So it's just a cart painted white.
I have this beautiful wagon.
It says ye old candy on the side.
Come, we have molasses and rock salt.
We have many sad puppies over here.
This is my fully enclosed white cart has sick puppies and candied orange peels.
Ooh, I like candy orange peels. That might get me.
That might get me.
I was trying to think of medieval treats. There's saffron in there. I don't know.
That'd be expensive.
That would be expensive.
We did the math on an earlier episode.
We did. That was a callback.
Yum.
So, other Salubri, the ones who are not cleric-y, who are a little bit more paladinish, a little bit more rock and roll, will seek to protect society and vanquish evil. This has also put many of the clan on the front lines of conflicts like the Bali Wars, which I will talk about in the next episode, and various mortal conflicts. So yeah, just throughout history, fucking Salubri have been like, there's a battle going on. I see there's a just and right thing to do. I will lend my sword and arms and unlife to this noble cause. And they just get fucking slaughtered.
Womp.
My question is, 2 Salubri of varying ideologies end up on different sides of the same conflict. Would they do battle with each other? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because I imagine with like the Second Inquisition thing, I could see one being like, God gave me these powers. I need to wipe these monsters off the earth.
Yes, there are Salubri like that.
But also other ones being like, these humans are doing terrible things to these vampires. I must protect them.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yes, we are monsters, but like this slaughter is unjust and not the way Saulot would have wanted us to do things. Yeah, that absolutely assuredly has happened and probably will continue to happen until infinitum.
Yeah.
Or not. There's been some updates with the Book of Nod.
Uh-oh.
We'll get into that, but later on. So, most Salubri. Oh my god.
Salubri. Boop, 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 boop.
Most Salubri find themselves being shepherds, working with or hiding within humanity. This skill with medicine and counseling and fighting allows them to find ways to build relationship with mortals in the way a lot of other vampires don't. Because if you're somebody who walk up and go like, hey, so I see you got that like leprosy there, bro. Nah.
Let me fix that for you.
I also really like the idea of a really like wholesome himbo bro Salubri. He's like, yeah, nah, brah, I got you. We're gonna fix this together. Teamwork.
We got it, fam.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Ricketts? You look fine now. Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
Hell yeah.
My guy, I see you're a bit sad. Is that wench broke up with you? Yeah, you don't need to worry about her, man. Just pat on the shoulder, uses Valerian to erase the sadness. And he's like, yeah, you're right, I didn't need her. Okay, thanks, man.
Are there any Salubri? Do you have to make physical contact for that discipline?
No.
You just do it with your voice or your brain?
A lot of times, yeah. Especially higher up.
You think any Salubri are stand-up comedians?
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
I hadn't considered that. Holy shit.
That's good. That's really good.
I'll heal your sadness. I'll heal an entire theater's worth of sadness.
Look,
It's probably
go ahead.
It's probably a question for next or episode 3. But I was thinking, I know you said, you can't heal the Nosferatu. I'm guessing they also can't heal the Malkavians, quote unquote derangement.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they could.
I know they could do some, because in Old World, I think Malkavians were just required to have one. Yeah. But like you could have a Malkavian who would have what they called 4 derangements, and those could go away, but you had to always have one.
Yeah, I for V5 would kind of rule. It's like, hey, so your particular issue will not go away, but your Salubri friend can help it so that it's easier for you to like pass the checks to like be calm.
Yeah, temporarily.
Yeah. So it's like you're still struggling with this and having a problem, but you have an accountability buddy.
That makes sense.
So But then also your accountability buddy is being hunted by everyone in society, and also you want to eat them all the time.
Yeah.
So, there's that problem too. So.
Well, you only voice chat. You don't.
That's why you only voice chat. Fantastic. But yeah, the other kind of side benefit for the Salubri with being so much in contact with humans and society is being among the mortals provides protections that a lot of vampires really can't or don't account for, let alone that a lot of vampires will not risk the masquerade in certain ways that you can kind of weaponize.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just like, what? I live and work in this homeless shelter. There's so many eyewitnesses all the time. You can't just like whip out your vampire powers.
Right. Similar reason why like Toreador are often kind of more difficult to fuck with, because they have a herd of people wandering around, watching them at all times.
When you're constantly at the club with the boots and the fur.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everybody looking at her. It's kind of hard to also whip out your vampire powers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Saulot had forbidden those of his clans to feed from mortals who feared them. So not only could you just not take blood, it had to be given freely, you also couldn't, freak him the fuck out.
So there was no, hey, you're going to give me some blood, right?
Yeah. You
That's not
couldn't
cool.
coerce it.
Yeah.
And you also had to, make sure they were cool with you. Mm-hmm. And not just, demon! They're like, no, friendship.
Friendship.
Friend. I am friend. Look, I healed your child. I've mended your clothes. I am a cool person. I keep the bandits off your farm. We're chill. We're
Can I
homies.
have a snack, please?
I made bread. I don't know if it tastes good because I can't have it, but it smells good.
A lot of Salubri do tend to have higher humanity, so maybe they could taste the bread.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. There is a slight caveat to this, which I find funny. Those of the warrior caste bloodline tend to consider feeding from their foes within battle to be acceptable due to hatred and rage being, in fact, not fear. Those are different emotions.
That's technically true.
So Dad can't be mad at me. Loophole.
It's not consensual.
Until you get legendary on the battlefield. And then the most feared warrior. It's oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's oh, I got too good?
Damn it.
Fuck. I gotta... I
gotta lose my game here in a little bit.
Yeah, my kill ratio, too lit.
Turns out having a kill-death ratio of 6,000 to 1 is pretty bad.
Makes you scary.
For me.
Yeah. But then that means that ups your ability to feed from the homies on
This is
your
true.
side.
Yeah.
So
Kind of evens out.
kind of evens out. Speaking of even out, who gets embraced within the clan? They tend to pull from all walks of life. They tend to have the widest age range among their clans, which was specifically noted. Salot specifically said no embracing children.
Didn't stop them.
Does stop them.
Does stop them. Good job,
Yes.
guys.
There is a distinct lack of teens and younger within the Salubri. I'm upset that the book in canon felt the need to point this out.
I mean, all the other vampire clans, I could totally see being like, ew, that's gross. But then them being like, but I like that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
Like-
that. There's...
Toreador, absolutely do that. Gangrel, probably, as nasty as it sounds, would honestly look at it and be like, well, they're really mature for how young they are. Like, they can handle themselves.
Yeah.
I could totally see Gangrel doing that. Lasombra don't care.
Here's I don't care. Malkavians might do it by mistake.
Right, yeah.
I know there's one, I believe, in canon Malkavian. We don't know too much about them, but I believe it was a Malkavian who was turned as a child who designed all the clan symbols.
Yes.
I believe that.
There's that, and then there was also the child Tremere Regent of Chicago, who canonically should be dead now.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, good choice!
Yeah.
Thanks for getting rid of that, 5th Ed. That was super fucked up.
They should have kept it. The Harry Potter fans would have loved it.
Oh, no. No.
You're
like,
a wizard forever, Harry.
It was very reverse. The Lestat Claudia relationship is the best way to explain it, because he had embraced a grown woman because she was pretty
Mm-hmm.
and just like bullied her and all sorts of just fucked shit. And it's like very much leaning into the story plot stuff of, well, physically a child, emotionally a child, but he's also like 200 and he's getting some adult feelings. And I'm like, can we not?
Yeah.
That's no.
Yeah, we don't need that in a story.
No, super gross. Not into that.
I'm not wholly opposed to having a child vampire in the game, but they specifically need to have some very hard lines where it's just like they are mentally a child forever, and we are not putting them in any scenes that involve certain things.
That is a consent and calibration talk. You have it session 0.
Ah.
Yes, safety tools important. Important other aspect of being embraced as Salubri. They often pull from people who have a quote-unquote good life. Whatever the fuck that means is open to interpretation depending on culture, region, time period, and the philosophy of the Salubri that is the sire.
Do they mean lead a good life or have a good life? Like
Lead a good life.
Like have a good life.
No, lead a good life.
I was doing
So,
physical stuff. I
yeah.
did the money sign for the hand money sign.
Yeah, no. It would be things where it's like there's a goodly innkeeper that like ignores people sometimes when they don't have money to pay. And he's like, I got you covered. It's fine.
People run charities.
Right.
Yeah, you know, just the village herbal healer that was, you know, doing midwifery and community pillar kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know a better time to bring it up, but I did read some of I skimmed through the clan book, read as much as I could getting ready for this. I was surprised by how Christian a lot of it is, and it was Dark Ages, but they have very deep ties to Christianity, so I could even see them saying like good life as in like a pastor who truly dedicated his whole life to the church, and then
like nuns that had particular ties to either having ecstatic visions or doing a lot of service for the community kind of thingies. Yeah.
Salubri and a Malkavian get in a fight. She's been having holy visions. I know.
I know.
I was thinking that exact same thing. I saw her have one. Me too.
It's just, no, you were having it at the same time.
Yeah, we have the same vision.
Yeah, I was there. I brought snacks. You can't eat them. I know, but I had them.
They were here.
Yeah.
Tried to give it to her. She was distracted.
Yeah, having visions, hungry work. They're for her later. I was helping. But yeah, I did kind of the buttress that. We will get into the fact that Salot is very involved in the clan early on and then fucks off for a period of time and comes back. And in that fuck off time period, the clan tries to follow his decrees and his moral things, but society, shockingly, over centuries shifts over time. And during that shift in time, Western society became very Christian because, shockingly, the Middle Ages happened.
What?
So yeah, a lot of what gets considered moral and godly does get wrapped in a lot of Christian vernacular during the Dark Ages, particularly when you're dealing with the European set. But if you deal with Salubri in other corners of the world, like in the Middle East, you'll get more Islam-based Salubri and so on and so forth. But a lot of it's very Christian coded.
And because their core book is only Dark Ages, which is itself very Christian coded.
So, augment that how you want as with modern contemporary Salubri, because there could be those who consider living a good life still being the very churchy, whoever the fuck kind of thing, and then you get other people that are like, well, they're like a political activist that does like food not bombs, or just somebody who's fucking nice,
right?
Just a homie. Have fun with this as you desire. Another branch of Embrace is redemption and second chances. So some Salubri are inherently wicked people that were embraced to like give them a chance to turn over a new leaf.
That sounds like a dangerous choice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's occasionally. It doesn't happen terribly often, but it's not been unheard of a Salubri just be like, I'm done with this guy's shit, and just like grabs him by the scruff, embraces him, go like, all right, you're gonna be a better person now. God told me.
I could see that if it wasn't just someone who was just like greedy asshole, but like grew up in a place where all they knew was like suffering and violence, and so they adopted the violence into their own behaviors, and they're like, you don't have to be like that. You're not gonna be like that anymore.
Yeah, it's not a good choice.
I just saw all that could go. I like the positive. You were thrust in a bad situation. You didn't have good tools. I'll give you better ones. My brain was like, okay, are you really going to give like Richard Ramirez a second chance?
I wouldn't put him in the category of.
I wouldn't put him in that category.
He is wicked. He's a wicked, disgusting person.
Could you have a Salubri who is so like into their own ideology, they think that they can redeem somebody as bad as that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. That's also a...
I was just using him as an example of someone that bad.
Yeah,
I wasn't
you're
saying
not
him
wrong.
specifically, but...
Oh, yeah, no, it's a good example, though. And it's one of those, definitely talk to your storyteller and your table mates if you want to do that kind of a story, because holy fuck.
Yeah, Salubri trying to fix a slasher.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Oh.
I mean, that's basically what you suggested.
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
Gross.
The others, maybe potentially less funky version of that is people who are terminally ill or survive massive tragedies can be chosen for a like second chance or a second wind, where it's like, man, the universe was not cool to you. What if I gave you a Mario mushroom and you got a do-over?
Oh, that's like, I would much prefer to be, never mind.
What?
I was going to say the whole survivor, like second wind kind of thing. That's in competition with La Sombra. And I think I'd prefer to get embraced by a Salubri over La Sombra. And then I was like, but sometimes I'm a snack as it is.
Yeah.
And then making it a snack on like an entirely different like spiritual level, I don't know if I could handle that.
No, that's fair. Also, there's the terminally ill thing is interesting because of the way World of Darkness handles disability in Embrace. Being embraced most of the time doesn't take your disability away. If you want to run a game where that does happen, or your vampire pillars like help you augment your disabilities, there's room for that. But there's canonical characters who are like paralyzed, like in Embrace, and still paralyzed afterward, or blind, or were missing limbs and various other disabilities. So these characters exist in canon, but yeah, I think it would be kind of shitty to find somebody who's withering away from cancer and then you embrace them, and it's like, bro, they still have cancer. Like, they have stamina 1.
It's interesting how that works, though, because there are also in-canon characters that I believe were embraced with cancer and was, like, immediately, like, fine. It was kind of like a devil's deal.
They're saved, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like, there's a handful of different ways where you can handle that, where it is a hand wave, the power of the vitae's juice in your body enough that you're Gucci, like the tumor is still there, but because you're in a liminal vampire state, it's not growing, it's not going to get any worse.
Right.
You have options where it could just be like you're just permanently stuck in that state of just like gross. Right. Various other diseases I could think of. I think I'm like, some of those it's like, story wise I could see where Embrace might make that manageable, and other ones where I'm just like, why would you do that? Just holy fuck.
I would think like things that like things like cancer or more like withering style things that you know, defeat tuberculosis, things like that. I could see Vitae not necessarily fixing, but definitely being like, well, you can't fucking die of cancer now, so
Yeah, you also kind of have a corpse, so
Like,
you know what I mean?
you're kind of dead already.
But like if you have polio, it's not going to fix polio. You're not going to start getting up and walking around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
that
affects more systems.
It's one of those, handle that at your table as you wish. I just sometimes get concerned when you have supernatural healing abilities in terms with disease and disability that it turns into disability erasure.
For sure.
Or it somehow, the narrative turns into accidentally being like, well, if you were a good enough person, you wouldn't be disabled. Which is like kind of gross.
Yes.
And I'm like, avoid that if you can. Please. Somebody who has to deal with chronic issues and running into narratives more now that I'm like, I don't like that so many of these stories are implying that if I was a good person, I wouldn't be like this. And it's weird.
Though if a clan was going to say that, it'd be Salubri.
It would be Salubri. They're like, I can fix you. And I'm like, I don't need fixing.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
It's fine.
Appreciate it.
I just move around the world differently. It's fine.
Yeah.
Things that are not fine. Saulat said it is forbidden to embrace lovers, family, and friends.
Good.
Because being a vampire is fucking too horrible of a thing to inflict on another person like that.
Probably shouldn't do it.
So if you got feelings about somebody, don't do it. But Salad also may have embraced one of his lovers in ancient times who became known as Raziel, who's a musician and a healer from before the Bali Wars. And
listen,
is an interesting character, but it's also just like, heck.
I know we made fun of Cain for being a bit of an incel about this. But it does seem like every elder who has done it regretted it enough to tell all his children to never do that. So, like, maybe they're on to something?
Yeah, well, like, with Salad,
maybe.
Him and Razel, the relationship seemed fine.
Yeah.
It's just one of those where I'm like, the way the text read with his interpretation of it, it wasn't, he embraced a lover, it went bad, and he went, you guys can't do this. It was more of a, like, the morality of the situation is bad. We're gonna ignore the fact that I did it anyways.
Maybe it was one of those, like, I've done this, and I have now experienced and seen how bad the morality is. Yeah. You guys should not do it. Learn from my mistakes, kind of thing.
Yeah, which, ancient Saulat, that makes kind of sense. There's some interpretations on things he's doing that I'm just like...
Oh, I'm not saying that's what he did. But I am definitely saying he's probably a huge-ass hypocrite. But he might at least be trying to pawn it off as a learn from my mistakes.
He is an elder, like I'm saying.
Yeah.
Cain also did it multiple times.
That's true.
Even though he was like, no one should ever did this. I did it once. And then he did it again.
And he kept doing it.
He's like, I did it twice. Don't do it.
I possibly did this, like...
40 times.
6 or 7 times at least.
You shouldn't do it.
He almost went into an Alex Jones voice there.
I did. I don't want Cain to be Alex Jones. No.
They're doing it. They're doing it, people. You see it. They're taking them. They're turning them into vampires.
Oh, okay, Cain, calm down.
Buddy, I'm not buying your brain pills.
Cain Jones, terrible NPC.
I got this tactical tub. Best way to say fuck you, God, in a tub.
They turned the freaking frogs gay. You don't even have to like change the context of that.
Nope.
All out of Cain Jones's mouth.
They're just turning the Salubri gay.
Turn the Salubri gay.
Those Toreadors.
Crap. I'm so sorry, everyone. Back on plot. So sires will often seek out a suitable childer once they have achieved Golconda themselves, or they at least think they did.
I was about to say, are you ever sure? I felt like Golconda is almost like enlightenment, where if you're saying, I've achieved it, you probably haven't.
It's weird because, like, I have a very white person understanding of certain other cultures on their understandings of enlightenment and things like that. And I'm not sure in that context, let alone this one, when you know you've done it, because there's certain characters like the Buddha in the various forms of Buddhism that Buddha's like, I've achieved enlightenment. I'm like, sure, how the fuck do you know? And he's like, well, I'm a glowing god. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You got it, bud. Good job.
Yeah, that I believe. Yeah, it's well, I'll get into it a little bit more because it does tie into some of the stuff with the third eye and their clan specific discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get into that a little bit more in detail on the bonus episode. But what's important for this is though while there are Salubri that believe that they have followed the path of Gonkonda and they've achieved enlightenment and that perfect balance between the beast and the self, and then they're like, okay, well, I've achieved enlightenment. Now I need to pass my duties on to another so that they can also achieve enlightenment and continue the cycle. There are others that will just embrace out of desperation because they're just like, shit, fuck, things bad. I need someone to tell others, fly, you fool. Just do an emergency embrace and then just kind of like let them go. Be like, find this person, go. And they're just like, I don't have GPS yet. Because
like,
it's
just
1300.
See that thing in your fucking forehead? Use it.
Pray to God, he'll tell you where to go. So there's that. And then there's others that will embrace because of, just they had a vision, they had a calling, a feeling, an inkling, whether that is actually divine inspiration or the power of Salat reaching back through the power or manipulation of other kindred. Who the fuck knows?
Right.
There's like, I've seen things, God has touched me. And I'm like,
has he though?
Are you sure? Because in the canon, God is the thing, but could also be just an absentee eldritch abomination. That's a little interpretive.
As you do.
As you do. So there's that. There's other sires that will also want to ensure that their childer is capable of withstanding not only the stresses of being a vampire, but also able to diablerize them, the sire, once the sire has decided that the childer is ready.
Huh.
That's a thing that happens in the Salubri, where they're just like, all right, I've achieved the Golconda, I've trained up this childer, they are suitable, they are ready. Papa bless, little cross thingy.
Eat me.
You now need to eat me. What? Yes, you, my pure, beautiful childer, this agent of God, I need you to commit the most horrible crime known to man, and I'll live inside of you forever. And it's like, what the fuck?
Huh.
Yeah, so there's some potentially not mentally well aspects within the culture for portions of Salubri, so that's kind of...
I wonder, this may not at all be, and if it is, and we're going to touch on it, just tell me that later. I wonder if there are any Salubri out there being like, that's the plan, right? We're going to just eventually... most of the world will be embraced by kindred, and then we will eat them, and they will become one with us, and then we will eat each other until there's one of us, and everyone will be one.
There are some Salubri who might think that. There's definitely a whole bunch of the fucking Banu Hakim who think that, but that is the Banu Hakim episode.
Okay, whoops.
That's a...
We will have one spiritual being via diablerie.
Yeah, if you want those details, vote for fucking Banu Hakim on the Patreon poll. But to end on a slighter note about Salubri embraces, a lot of Salubri, once they are embraced, will pick a name for themselves, like a new identity name of some sort. The name often will be tied into something that they considered virtuous or something worthy of a goal to achieve. This name is often an angel or a saint. But it can be, your own sire because you thought they were like a cool and rad person. Could be your parent. Could be fucking...
some fucking nerd out there named himself Drizzed.
Yeah. Just there's fucking Salubri now that are just like, I'm Goku. And I'm like, I want to...
God damn it.
fight you so hard. They're like, good, that's what I wanted. I'm like, no, that's... I'm tired.
Love it. Oh my god, all the obnoxious names. From all the obnoxious fandoms.
Oh no, just all of the weeb Salubri. Oh my god. I'm Sasuke, please don't.
That's a bad one.
That is a bad one. I was just picking names at this point.
Inuyasha.
Fucking Luffy. It's like, I'm Luffy. I'm like, I believe.
Get out.
I'm leaving this interaction.
Yeah.
And I'm done.
That'd be
Press
a young...
X to leave.
No, I'd stick around. That'd be a young Salubri. I'd have a lot of questions.
Yeah, right?
Actually, that's a good point.
It's a lot of questions, but I'm also just like, really? That's the one you went with? Oh, okay.
Well, hold on, no. Because that manga's been around for fucking ever, right?
Manga's been around for a hot minute, but like the popularity of the shows skews a bit younger.
Yeah, anyway. I guess that's been around since we were kids.
Yeah, because I remember people being like, "You need to read One Piece," and I'm like, "I go outside."
I'm tempted. My
How many books is it?
It's not done yet.
Okay.
But the rumor is he's getting older and he wants to wrap it up in the next 2 years.
Okay.
But the entire story has been leading up to like one big question. And so a lot of people are saying if you want to read it and not know what that is, like now may be your last chance, because people are going to go fucking nuts when that question is answered.
That's fair.
I hope the answer is, and then they wake up and it's been a dream.
Saint elsewhere.
I will laugh my dick off.
I will too. There will be riots in the streets, but oh my god, it'll be funny.
The discourse on TikTok will be fucking fire for like a day. Alright, so bloodlines and subcultures of note. This section is a little thick because Salat kept fucking embracing people. So apologize, it's gonna be a good chunk of the episode. So warriors, as we've talked about, this is a bloodline, one of the more prominent bloodlines within the Salubri. They're descended from Samiel, who is a direct childer of Saulat.
Hey, Sammy!
Where the majority of the Salubri are known as healers, this line wages war against the literal spawns of hell.
Oh.
So insert Doom music here at your leisure, which is kind of fun. I'm still impressed that we got the Doom being rendered by gut bacteria. That's really fucking cool.
What?
Yeah, there's a scientist who figured out he could render Doom using gut bacteria. It takes like 70 hours to render a single frame, but you could do it. It would take 600 years to run the entirety of Doom through this method, but you could do it.
That's fun.
This clan does also desire to do the Golconda thing, as all Salubri are wont to do, but it doesn't, for them, they don't view it as an inherent contradiction with their warrior bloodline and lifestyle and moral choices, since Golconda is trying to find a perfect balance between self and beast. So some of them are like, yeah, I can just do this while I'm kicking ass, and other ones are like, no, I'm gonna pause, do my duty, and then come back to it. So a couple of different ways you can handle that. These Salubri,
I could see it. Them, I could see them being like, yeah, my balance is when I'm fighting someone, that is my beast. When I am not fighting someone, that is not my beast. I
am being a noble warrior.
Exactly.
Poet thing.
Yeah, and that's how they balance it. I could see that.
Oh yeah, for sure. These Salubri are often embraced from knights of high regard, those dying valiantly in battle, and those who show a particular strength of character, or those who feel some sort of a higher calling. While most of this bloodline are male, particularly because, Dark Ages, most people that are doing fighting tend to be dudes.
It's the truth.
It was far more common to see female warriors amongst the Salubri compared to other clans, and this is noted specifically in the Clan Salubri book.
So Salubri would be like your Joan of Arc.
Yeah, a lot of Joan of Arcs, a lot of the Lady Vikings.
I was going to say, like, Shield Maiden style thing.
Shield Maiden style things, Celtic cultures were known to have a fair amount of female warriors, like Boadicea and others.
Picts too, right?
Yeah,
Picts had a lot of females.
I'm imagining that's just another time the Salubri and Malkavians would be like, she had holy visions. I know.
Yeah.
I
keep telling you.
I like the idea it's the same too. Just keep finding ladies who have the visions. You again? She had visions. I know.
You got the last one.
I'm getting this one.
It's my turn.
God gets everyone. No, that's not fair.
It's like, God gets them all in the end. I want this one right now. We had an agreement according to, and just pulls out this like crumpling, decaying scroll from his back pocket.
You still have that?
How does it fit in there? You're wearing skinny jeans. Don't worry about it.
I love this.
So a big cultural note with the warriors is the Code of Samiel and blooding. So the Code of Samiel is an in-lore text supposedly written by Samiel, possibly bulked out by his child Uriel and his coterie. Who the fuck knows? There's, hi, welcome to Vampire Lore. There's, for every story you hear, there's like 2 versions, if not more.
Yep.
This is one of those. And this code dictated the blooding ritual along with the traditions held in high regard for the warrior bloodline / caste. So it's kind of like the prince and all sorts of other like medieval tomes and guides of like how this is how you're supposed to live a good life and be a good warrior and member of society, and also the various rituals and rite that they would have along with that. This code was supposedly dictated to Samiel directly from an angel.
Of course.
The Archangel Michael, who exists in the canon.
Pause. The Archangel Michael, who was embraced by Toreador?
That Toreador Michael is a Toreador that thought he was Archangel Michael.
Okay. Got it.
This is like actually the Archangel
There's
Michael.
an actual Archangel who is not that guy.
Yeah.
I wonder if they ever had like a really awkward moment at a party.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Homie
man, are
was
we wearing-
cosplaying as Michael, and then Michael shows up.
They're at the same party. Oh shit, we're in the same outfit. That's weird. Ugh.
It's like the hat.
One of us needs to change.
The hat.
It's the hat all over again.
That's a counterfeit hat. What? No.
I'm him.
What is blooding?
So, last note on the code is
Oh, yeah.
believed to be lost to time and has been eradicated by the Tremere. Caveat, there might be the last childer of Samuel, who's a Muslim woman who has a copy of it floating around fucking somewhere.
Oh, cool.
Or she's hanging out with Banu Hakim. Who the fuck knows? Anyways, blooding. Blooding, legend says this ritual was given to Samuel directly from Michael. Yes, that one. Gave him the code, gave him the ritual.
Thanks, man.
It is
Up, down, left, right.
Yes. It is the ritual that allows for the warriors to even be a fucking thing.
Oh.
So, its sacredness is held in the same regard as saintly ecstasy or the holy union of matrimony on, like, your first wedding night. Like, for Dark Ages times, this was, like, big tier...
Important shit.
Important holy fuck nuggets.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm trying to think of something I would hold in that kind of a sacred high regard right now, and I don't think I have one.
Weddings are still usually pretty important, even if you're not planning on having one yourself. I feel like even like a friend's wedding's a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, weddings. I would definitely be like, I'm not gonna fuck around with that because that's some serious fucking business.
Funeral. It's like someone else's funeral.
Someone else's funeral. Yeah, that's
most
fair.
situations in like really big, intense, naturey spots, I hold in really big reverence.
Yeah, I think for me it would be like things like the last painting done by Keith Harrington.
Yeah.
Which I got really annoyed that some AI people were like, I finished it. And I'm like, I am going to throw you into a pit. No. But yeah, the ritual for blooding involves prayer, recitation of the code, the test of self-control before finding communion and brotherhood within the bloodline. So, from my understanding for warriors, it's a combination of you do the embrace, and then you go through the blooding, which is like a second embrace, which elevates you from being a standard Salubri to a warrior.
Okay.
That is what made the most sense to me. You could interpret this as you could just be embraced into a warrior. You've been a warrior the whole time, and then this is kind of a ritual of education and status and whatever the fuck. The code is lost, so we don't technically know what it actually is anymore, so have fun with that. But to fully access all of the powers of being a warrior, which is what Valeran is the specialized warrior's version of their in-clan discipline, you had to go through the blooding, otherwise you can't do it.
Interesting.
So yeah, that is the warriors. This is just like kick ass for the world. We do spooky ritual shit, and it unlocks our powers.
Cool.
Cool nightly shit. So there's also the Furies, which is a subsect of the warriors.
Oh.
I misread that.
Me too.
Yeah, that's okay. The Furies is part of the reason why I was fucking sleep deprived and read the boots with the fur, and I was like, that's not what they said. This is a Dark Ages book. There will be no boots and fur.
I mean, there were probably quite a few boots with fur.
Yeah, but no low-rise jeans.
No.
No. No apple-bottom jeans.
There were definitely no apple-bottom jeans.
Yeah.
Baby may have gone low.
They may,
Shorty may have gone low.
Oh, Shorty.
But
Shorty may have
I
gone
will
low.
say the apple-bottom jeans probably would have made multiple men have heart attacks. Just straight up strokes. Just dead.
This is why we
Apple-bottom jeans! Oh, my lord! Drops.
This is unholy. Witch. Just accidentally.
Every ounce of blood to the wiener and dies.
And then dies. This is why the men had to wear leggings back
Yes.
in the day, because they needed the stretch because of all these apple-bottom jeans
Exactly.
that these harlot wenches are wearing. Anyways, the Furies. So this is a branch of the warriors who quote-unquote fell, seeking vengeance and reclamation of the blood stolen by the Tremere.
I wouldn't say fell is quite the right word there.
I wouldn't.
I think it's pretty justified.
So these
Seems
the
like a holy
warriors-
crusade to me.
Yeah, these are the warriors that
Holy
became the Salubri anti-tribute.
Huh?
So the Furies are
Yeah.
the Salubri anti-tribute.
Okay, but they're killing Tremere, so how bad can they be?
Well, the Furies don't so much care about the sect politics as they do tearing down Clan Tremere specifically, as well as the Camarilla as a whole.
Okay, so tying down the Camarilla could cause some problems.
Yes.
Still having problem seeing why the first thing's an issue.
Yeah. A lot of them have a zealotry that the Sabbat are like, yeah, love that shit. That energy is fantastic. We love that.
Right.
What they don't like is that the Furies are still Salubri. So they're still having, like, moral opinions about things, and they're still, like, helping humans and doing good deeds, and they're just like, I don't like that part. I like it when you're angry and kicking ass for our side and doing things and helping us.
Why are you giving all that money, all of our war spoils to that soup kitchen? Why are you doing this?
It's like, and you fucking... And it killed Sally, and I understand that she was kicking children and dogs in the face and body. And that is against your moral code, apparently. But, you know, we're vampires and we're better than them, so, like...
What's the problem here?
Put the sword down.
Put the sword down. Put the sword down.
I don't know. I kind of like them still.
Yeah, same. I just see all of that being a conversation with the Tremere, and the Tremere ending up dead at the end, and there isn't a problem.
Yeah, there's potentialities for problems with these guys, and the fact that because they are in the Sabbat, they can go a little too far down that whole vengeance spiral thing, and maybe not understand that collateral damage is a thing they should care about.
It seems like they would care about that if they're still doing, like, charity work and stuff. Or at the minimum, they'd be like, I'm doing charity. I'm doing plenty of volunteer work for the families of the people I killed.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see that being like, yes, you're right. I did level that whole building.
Yeah.
But all the money that we got from the raid and, you know, all the status that I've gotten from this, I'm putting toward, again, helping those hurt by my actions.
Yeah. So
I want to play this character.
Yeah. I'm bringing this up as a, like, this can get played in lots of ways, where it's Frank Castle when he's a little bit more chill, and then Frank Castle when he's absolutely not chill. Like, he's still badass, but you're just like, Frank, you're killing everyone.
Please stop.
In ways that are, like, not just tactical, but clearly you're getting something out of this, and you need to go to therapy. So, you can run with this how you want. There's loads of text. You can look into that.
Yeah, I got my next character.
Yeah. I am suggesting, considering recent Nights in V5, the Sabbat's not really a thing, having what Furies might remain slide into the Anarch movement.
The Anarchs would be so fucking confused, / down.
Would not know what to do.
Would not know what to do, but also super down for it. They're like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm excited.
He's got a passion that rivals the Bruja.
That's kind of cool. He's got that really sick sword.
That's a dope-ass sword. As long as it doesn't turn toward me, I am on his side.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? As long as if it turns toward me, I'm probably going to try to be on his side anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like, fucking... Like, we have, like, an actual paladin? Like, on our... This is fucking crazy, bro.
Did you see... I don't know if you saw this. He's got plate armor at his place.
We should try to get him to drink a Four Loko.
I really want to play an Anarch Fury in our next game. That sounds sick.
That sounds sick as fuck.
He calls himself, like, a mage hunter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a demon hunter, but, like... To the point where he hates a Tremere so much, like, he'll go after mages, too. Just, like, you're part of the problem.
What is that? What's that? There's... To D&D, there is, like,
Witch Hunter.
Witch Hunter. There's there's also a feat in 5e that's, like, specifically you're a martial character who specializes in killing spellcasters.
Really?
Yeah,
cool. Mage Slayer?
Is it Mage Slayer?
I don't remember. But
yeah.
I know what you're about.
Which I'm like, that's kind of cool.
So that could that technically also work on the Ministry and Thin Bloods? Would you count them as spellcasters?
Ministry, Thin Bloods, Hakim, Tremere, Zamiti. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the ability that lets me kill half the vampires.
Yeah, and those of you who
can
might...
we have...
What?
And this would be probably the worst idea, but can we have an Oops, all Salubri, Crusaders coterie?
Yes, but holy shit.
That might have to be go on the list of our actual play.
Okay, alright. You're a prince. And a coterie of 3 Salubri walk in to town wearing, like, actual plate mail. What do you do? What do you do
at that point? I'm stressed. It's a hypothetical.
I would like to step down, please.
Oh, I can't now because you're here. Fuck.
I feel like
I'd at least hear him out.
Yeah, that would be terrifying. I feel like the older you were as a prince, like the more worried you'd be by that too. Because you actually
know what they do.
Because like if you're a younger prince, you might just be like, "What are these goofy LARPers up to?"
Like, what are these cosplayers doing here? Did you 3D print that armor? That's cool. Like.
And also when you're young, and even if you were like groomed by your clan to be put in a position of power, young in vampire and prince terms, be like, do you think they would have warned you about the Salubri? Some don't even think they exist anymore. Like,
or ever. There might be some that are young enough now that are like, I think the Salubri were just a fucking myth.
Yeah,
Right.
the same way they
time.
talk about like the Niktuku and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's just a story to scare the Tremere.
Yeah, like the Smear wiped them out. It's not a fucking thing. Like,
And then 3 of them walk up, plate mail and broadswords in hand.
like, oh shit, is there a convention in town?
Right.
Like,
Meanwhile, there's like 2 or 3 primogens that are like, oh shit,
shitting.
oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Shitting and pissing. The prince is just chill, being like, yeah, man, fucking, I love the Ren Fair too. The vibes are immaculate. But, like, what's going on? All right, so next group of the Salubri is the Wu Zhao, or they're also called the Watchers.
Oh.
So when Zhao Lot, when traveled east, he's often referred to in those texts as Zhao Lot.
Zhao Lot.
A lot of this is Chinese pronunciations. There might be a little bit of sprinkling of Japanese and some Sanskrit because the 90s and 2000s were a wild time. And I apologize. I'm going to try my best to pronounce things correctly. Feel free to make fun of me for not doing it right. This is for comedy purposes. But when Zhao Lot traveled east, he embraced and trained a whole other line. He just go places and make a fuckload of childer and train them up, and he just be making people.
Yeah, I guess get it, buddy. I guess.
He fertile.
That's what you feel like you gotta do.
I know you said like there's probably more than the 13 or whatever. It's wild to me that they got wiped out, considering just like how many versions of the Salubri seemingly existed.
My fan theory is that a branch of the Salubri got wiped out. I don't think the clan as a whole did, but it also doesn't help that their antediluvian got fucked.
Yeah.
So that causes some problems.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be surprising to me if like the western branch got wiped out, and then a lot of like the Camarilla stuff are like, well, they're gone, and just didn't know better or care.
We are getting to that with this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because apparently Zhao Lot and his fertile dad nut decided that when he went to the east and ran into the Kuai Jin and all of that, and I'll get into more detail about the Kuai Jin next episode. But a lot of the eastern vampires tend to focus on also fighting demons.
Awesome.
Yeah, and all sorts of kind of stuff. That's what that bloodline does.
Fights demons.
Researching and fighting demons.
Okay.
That's what the fuck they do.
Again, get along with the Sabbat.
They
Some
don't
of them.
fuck with the Sabbat.
They don't?
No. These guys are in Southeast Asia primarily, and they keep to them fucking selves.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Sabbat in Asia, are there? As far as I know, they kind of have their own things going on there.
Yeah, in the V5 canon, there is mentions of, because the current iteration of the Sabbat thrive in areas of conflict and areas with less economic development, or if there's like economic stressors. Anytime society just kind of like table flips, that they can just kind of vibe there and it works for them.
Sabbat's like, yo.
Yeah, so in V5 they were like, yeah, there's a bunch of Sabbat in just like parts of Russia. And I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Makes sense.
It does.
It is also very unfortunate.
Yeah, and there's been, various conflicts in places like Myanmar and other places like that. So, yeah, I'm not saying they don't exist there, but because of the Kuai Jin, a lot of Western vampires don't exist in those areas for specific reasons. The Wu Zhao are a big exception to that rule. And the Wu Zhao also come in 2 distinct flavors, or fonts. There are the thieves, who originate from one of the first 2 childer that Zhao Lot did while he was on his grand mystical Eat, Pray, Love adventure, who is Zhao Ji, who was a cunning thief who was capable of taking the secrets from the Yomi Wan. For those who don't know, the Yomi Wan is known as the 1,000 Hells.
Hell yeah.
A spiritual domain created by Yama Kings, which are powerful antagonistic spirits.
Sick.
Nice.
It sounds metal as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool, but also heck. And then there's the scholars, who are descended from the second childer that Zhao Lot made, called Zhao Zhe. Zhao Zhe, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm butchering this, and I'm sorry. A brilliant arcane scholar capable of deciphering the secrets in various ways to combat demons. So one half is a bunch of rogues going to places they're not supposed to and stealing occult knowledge, and then the other half are nerds to decipher the secret arcane knowledge. Yeah.
I love it.
They should be like best friends with the Bruja.
Mm-hmm.
So much.
Yeah, it's like
the more we do this, the more I want to play an Oops All
Oops All Salubri.
Oops All Salubri. We
Salubri.
have a paladin, we have a rogue.
Oops Salubri.
Oops Salubri.
God damn it!
It's gonna be a low fantasy setting by force. You know what I mean?
If you know what I mean, cracking knuckles actively. Yeah. So that's those guys. I'll go into more detail on that when we get into the clan history because that ties into a lot of what happened in the timeline. But that's just the rough of the Wuzhou. And there's also the Nikulu Zhou. So these Childer of Zaulat, aka the Dead Souls of Zaulat. That's what Nikulu Zhou translates to from Balivi, which I did some research. Balivi is an ethnic group that exists in the dialectical region for Bantu, which is like around the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Oh. Nice, okay.
So, took me a minute to decipher that. I love the Ebony Kingdoms book. There's a lot of really cool African culture stuff in it. Doesn't give a lot of context in the book though, so my dumbass has to like go Google things going like, where the fuck in Africa is this? What? So that was kind of a neat adventure to realize what the fuck that was. This is the Nikulu Zhou are also one of the few Liban descended bloodlines that the way it's written in the text doesn't read that it has a possible African origin.
Interesting.
So like most of the other Liban, while they'll be tied to a Western clan of some sort, they also have interpretations where it's like, oh, this clan could have existed before Cain or separate from the Cain canon, and either these are just clans that are analogous to, or they've like embraced with Western versions of themselves that like wandered into Africa.
Yeah.
This one doesn't really give that kind of interpretation.
Huh.
So it's kind of like the Wuzhou, where it's just like, it reads that Salah just showed up in the Congo, embraced some people, and then fucked off.
As he does.
As he does. This deadbeat dad, Salah.
Embraces people is like, do as I say, not as I do. Be nice to people. Help them out. Peace. Wait, what?
Yeah, it just shows up. You ain't first, you're last, and then just leaves. And just like, what the fuck? Okay. So the Nikulu Zhou are unfortunate in some very interesting ways. These vampires are particularly paranoid, secretive, and often hide in the most remote parts of Africa because they just don't want to be perceived. They rarely embrace, if ever, and a lot of them commit diablerie regularly due to a combination of fear of others and having bought into the Tremere propaganda that they're like unholy monsters, and they're like, okay, well, I guess if I am,
might as well.
Yeah. While there are those that believe that Golconda is potentially a possible thing, there's a lot of the Nikulu Zhou that believe Golconda as a concept is a lie, made up. It is not a thing that's possible. And they desperately try to survive and maintain being a vampire because they believe once they die, they're going to some sort of like hell realm.
Fuck.
Like an extra special one made for vampires?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
They're just like, oh no, we are cursed. We are all terrible. I am trying to avoid my own damnation for however many more years I can.
Damn.
There is no hope for us.
Bummer.
And I'm just like, oh, babies, no.
They need a hug.
Yeah, maybe.
They might eat you, though.
Yeah. It's...
They're like, everyone hates me. No one will ever get close. And then they eat the people that get close. Bummer.
Yeah, it's a big bummer. Lore-wise, fucking fascinating, but also just scary as shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a monster, it's going to eat you, but it's not doing it out of any malice, really. It's just like, I need to survive. I have no other options. I don't know what else to do. Fuck.
Right. Gross.
Yeah, so that also reads to my fan theory that if Salat did go to Africa and just embrace some people there just to kind of see what happens. I don't know if he just got bored or decided not to educate these kindred like he would with the others that he has had. And then just like gave them no instructions.
Yeah, because these ones, it definitely, if they're like hiding, just like, I just need to survive. Obviously, he didn't like explain anything.
Yeah, so I'm just like, what the fuck? Or did like some Salubri go? The other concern I have is potentially, if not Salat specifically, but it sounds like he did because they have his fucking name.
Yeah.
But it also specifically says that they may have bought into Tremere propaganda. So did like someone just get to them after he left and like...
That's the concern I have is, because of the way the Salubri were left to their own devices in the West, did a portion of them go, I'm gonna go down to the African subcontinent to proselytize and like do like missionary work down there, and they embrace some people, and then just didn't give them instructions either, and just like rolled into parts of Africa, just fucked shit up, and then part of the chaos that they left behind are just these handful of Salubri just wandering around in the Congo.
Just poor broken people.
Yeah, that just don't fucking know. Which I'm like,
I mean, I could see them, like, especially if they're out there to proselytize, like, I could totally see them embracing people, giving them Zalot's name.
Oh yeah, that's
in
cool.
a like, oh, you are the child of Zalot now, you know.
Yeah,
it's like, so I could see that happening for sure.
So that's the other fan canon. It's just a bunch of Salubri went down into Africa thinking they were gonna educate the noble savages or whatever the fuck dumb white people thing.
Yeah,
and just got way in over their head and died or just left, and then there's just a whole community down there that has no support network, and they're just kind of like, fuck,
right?
How do I thing? Speaking of other crazy Salubri, there's also the Seven.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. No, not hell yeah.
Oh no.
No, no.
Hell no.
Hell no. So during the purges of the Tremere being like, the Salubri are demon worshippers and the soul eaters.
Get them.
Get them. 7 Salubri elders fled to the east, kind of mirroring their dad, along the Silk Road. They met up with their long-lost cousins, the Watchers, and some other people around there. And they came back to the west after a period of time with a very interesting interpretation of what Golconda is.
Okay.
These elders created Childer, forced their teachings and interpretation of Golconda upon these Childer, and then forced them to commit diablerie. So these are like 4th or 5th gen vampires that are just embracing people, kind of cult, forcing them into a thing, and then forcing them to consume their souls.
Oh, these are the ones that are like, okay, I have taught you, now eat me.
This is a specific group of them that are like infamous for this, so stories of this have gotten around, so it has affected the public persona of the Salubri.
This is what you always think of when you think Salubri.
Yeah.
It just specifically 7 elders were like, fuck, we gotta get out of here, and then they went to Southeast Asia. It mentions in the text like specifically portions of India, and then just hung out with some gurus, whatever the fuck that means, and came back, and they're just like, I know what Golconda is. Hi, I'm crazy.
I wonder if this is like their own fucked up, warped interpretation of like reincarnation. They're eating my soul, absorbing it, and I'm becoming something new, you know?
Yeah, this could be just a very bad interpretation of what like reincarnation and like karma cycles are.
Yeah.
By people who don't have that inherently culturally, and they're just like, I know what it means, I can do this, and it's like, no, baby girl, no.
You're doing it wrong, bud.
Yeah, so it is often cited that the 7, so the Childer that were forced embrace and then forced to do diablerie, are mad, like fucking insane.
They're angry? Oh, okay.
And a big thing of what they do is they just rip mortal souls from the bodies of people just for fun and profit and experimentation, and have continued the practice of diablerie within their own clan and each other and others. It kind of reads that it's not so much a survival thing like the Nkulu Zao. It was more of just a like, I'm entitled to this because I've attained Golconda. I know things. I need your soul to do whatever things.
The thing I want to do.
I'm powered by God. I can do what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the batshit thing. But they're also very powerful because they're like really high up there on the
Right, they've been eating their elders, like, voluntarily for however long.
So it's just kind of one of those, like, oh, fuck. Well,
right.
So hopefully nobody actually runs into them. Though, the crazy thing with these guys, so, you know, normally commit diablerie, you get the black veins in your soul. Those who have witnessed the 7, note that they do have veins, but they aren't black. They actually, like, radiate a kind of, like, multicolored, parasmic, like, holy kind of it's weird.
So it's like their what would be black veins in their aura is more like iridescent, like oil slick?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, which has some interesting implications. Where it's like, okay, the diablerie is still bad, but somehow this is what the fuck. I did some digging. I couldn't really find.
Is it still bad?
Is it still bad?
I mean, diablerie is bad, but
yeah, is it bad in a different font?
I mean, if you're,
did they eat God?
It's a really pretty font.
Yeah,
it's also I mean, like
being iridescent and all.
They volunteered for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it still a crime if they're volunteering? Yeah, it's weird. So, the last of the bloodlines I'm talking about is the Bayet al-Min. So after the Bali Wars, which happened in ancient times, that happened in the Levant, so that's, the Palestine area. What of the Al-Min, which is just the Salubri in Arabic. So after the Bali Wars, everybody that was in the Middle East just kind of settled in the Middle East along North Africa and just kind of chilled. Also spread out into Asia, just traveling, doing their normal thing. Those Salubri refugees from Europe during the purges found shelter amongst the Banu Hakim and by extension the Ashira. So the Ashira-controlled areas kept the largest population of surviving Salubri, basically up until World War II.
Oh.
Because the French and the British mandates politically gave room for the Camarilla to come into the Middle East, and they just continued their slaughter of the Salubri.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. That doesn't echo into continuing problems that we are seeing into these days. Hooray.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
All right, so we've gotten to the discipline side. Hooray. All the different flavors of Salubri have been explored.
This is going to be the fun part.
Yeah, so you get Auspex, which gives you sight beyond sight.
Sight beyond sight.
Yes. Dominate, erases unhappy memories. Is specifically what they're using it for, and I'm like, that's ominous.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you can't be sad if you don't remember you're sad. I'm like, that's not how depression works, but okay.
Because sometimes depression does that for you.
Mm-hmm. And Fortitude gives them a strong body and a strong will.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. So I have to talk about amalgams, because the Salubri-specific powers are all amalgams. Do you want the gummy bear?
I was going for a gummy, but I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. But that was not quiet.
No, it was
Here,
not.
I'll
It's
distract.
No, it's okay.
okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
So,
no problem.
First amalgam I'm going to make note of is called Panacea. It heals willpower damage for vampires and mortals, and it helps rest the mental state. There's Invigorating Vitae, which will heal the living with vampire blood. Which is cool, but also Masquerade breachy as fuck.
Yeah.
There's Valerian, which instead of it being its own discipline tree is like a specific power for V5. It heals vampires through the force of will.
That's kind of cool.
You're able to use your mind power to knit the flesh back.
Pretty cool.
Which is pretty dope.
Pretty cool.
And then Unburdening the Bestial Soul. Removes stains or regains humanity for a vampire. It does require a kind of mind-soul meld, though. It's a little Vulcan mind meldy. For
Kinda
the
cool.
scene, which is
Could
pretty
be
cool.
real scary.
This is really cool. Has a lot of implications. Leads to cool stories. Could cause do a lot of consent checks at your table if you're using this power as an NPC or a player, because this could get kind of sticky quickly.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, just saying, I mean, I know that they have all of the normal powers for Auspex, Dominate, and Fortitude on top of these little, the amalgams here. But looking at the powers, like, I don't see super killer badass paladin. Just saying.
Well,
They don't even have anything that lets them hit extra hard.
okay, so Valerin in previous editions
Used to do that, right?
would specifically do that. Now, you could...
That's my problem with these amalgams, is like, Valerin probably should have had at least, like, a few of its own powers in it.
Yeah.
Because it had, like, there's a whole fucking branch.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, basically the way this is all set up is more for the healers, Salubri specifically.
Right.
So if you wanted to build one that was more warrior specific, that might be something you just need to, like, work with your ST to kind of figure out a good balance, or if you want to, like, swap out one or two of the disciplines, because if you want to do a warrior, because Valerin's an amalgam of Fortitude and Auspex,
Yeah.
I might just be like, hey, if you want to swap out Dominate for Potence
or Protean,
yeah, I'd be super down for you to do that, homie.
I guess you could also get that through your feeding type.
Mm-hmm.
That would help.
Yeah, I was say Predator type would also kind of
Predator type.
open up
fill
some
that in.
doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when you have a Predator type discipline that's not, if it's not already an in-clan discipline, it doesn't grant you that a discipline as in-clan.
Yeah.
So you still have to pay that XP cost.
Mm-hmm.
There's some ways you can kind of work around shit, so...
I mean, that would still make sense for story-wise. Like, you had to go study under a Brujah to get better at fighting.
Yeah, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Fortitude and Dominate together, I'm like, you're 2/3 of the way to a Ventru.
Yeah, and they're good at fighting.
And some of them really good at fighting. Some of them fucking know.
Some of them real good at just standing there while you're fighting.
Sometimes all you have to do is win the war of attrition.
Just let him tire himself out. It's fine.
Yeah, so I copy-pasted the clan Banes for Salubri, and it's a lot of text.
That is a lot of text.
I realize now because of time that's crazy. So basically what we're gonna boil this down to is the traditional clan bane for Salubri. You are enticing for other kindred to want to sip.
Maybe we can talk about this more in the third part episode when we talk about...
Yeah, I can get into more details there. I just want to, like, touch on it, because...
I'm just saying, if people want more, maybe we can do that then.
Yes, absolutely. So, on top of you being a tasty snack, and you are also harder to resist as a snack for the Banu Hakim in particular, because of their clan bane. Oopsie poodle.
So, you're hard to resist for everybody. You're double hard to resist for Banu Hakim.
Yeah, which sucks, because normally they're, like, pretty good friends, like, historically, even though...
Oh, I'm sure that this has led to a lot of very awkward exchanges.
Yeah.
Over the, like, centuries with friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this Banu Hakim's just sitting there, they're having a good time doing research. This Banu Hakim's been getting hungry, been getting frustrated because they can't find the info they've been looking for. You know, fails a couple will checks and then goes for a snack.
Well,
what the fuck are you doing, man?
Well, historically, the Banu Hakim couldn't drink vitae because it would cause them to burn from the inside out. So recently, it's just destroyed friendships.
This whole time, they've been great.
Yeah. And then fucking Urshagi flipped a switch and now they're just like, fuck! I didn't mean to eat the Twinkie. The Twinkie.
I didn't mean to.
Anyways.
Oh, boy.
But the other side of the blame, beyond being tasty, is when you use your powers, your fucking third eye opens up and will cry blood because drama.
And you cry more blood the more powerful the ability you use is.
Yeah, so now that you giant masquerade breach, you are actively bleeding, which will cause people around you who are hungry to have to roll to resist wanting to eat you. Yeah, it's good luck.
Rough.
And then there's Ascentism, is the alternative clan bane, which basically makes it difficult to control their blood, because basically they believe that they can overcome their vampiric condition, and their blood's like, nah, fam. So it's just it's externalizing an internal, like, conflict that you're having with your beast by making it physical.
Right.
And when your hunger is below 3, Salubri vampires suffer a penalty equal to their bane severity to any disciplined dice pools.
Ow.
And they still have the third eye.
And you still have the third eye problem.
That still cries blood.
Yeah, you just aren't a fucking aphrodisiac of a snack.
Yeah.
You don't smell like baked bread.
Ugh.
Yeah, I say that because recently I got into baking bread at home, and I'm just like, oh my god.
It smells great.
It's so fucking good.
It's good stuff.
So
you bleed a bunch, but you're not hunger-inducing.
Yeah, you don't...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're not like cartoonishly wafting a blood smell of fresh-baked cookies that people can't resist, but if there's people that are still, like, on the verge of frenzy, it's like normal vitae where they still have to roll.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's, complications. But also your powers might just decide to not work because you're hungry. Right. Which is also a dumb problem.
Or because you're not hungry.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Because it's only when you're hungry that you get to use them.
Yeah, it gives a lot of martyr complex.
That is rough. It's like, I'm trying to be a good person by not eating, which makes me more likely to accidentally, like, crit fail and messy crit and crit fail and bad.
It could be interesting if you're somebody who likes to play on hard mode.
I'm not saying it's bad that way, but it is like an interesting dynamic of like, I want to be good, but I'm much more likely to do something awful.
Yeah. It's like, well, you gotta get good, scrub.
Look, this is why I preach that you should never let yourself get hangry.
Gotta have a Snickers.
Gotta have a snack with you at all times.
Yeah. So the clan compulsion for the Salubri is called effective empathy. When the Salubri suffers a compulsion, the kindred becomes overwhelmed with empathy for a personal problem that afflicts someone else in the scene and seeks to resolve the problem.
Yes.
Just the ultimate nosy, like,
fucking... You know, I saw you were pretty upset at the bar the other day. What happened there, buddy?
The gif of Captain America showing up and turning the chair around and sitting like an 80s like school counselor. Say, hey, kids.
Love it.
But yeah, any action not taken towards mitigating the personal tragedy of another incurs a 2 dice penalty for the scene. Or until the burden has been lifted.
Love it.
And I'm like, that's fantastic. Also, oof.
That's so cool.
It's fun. And the last thing I want to cover is coterie merits. For the Salubri, it's called restraint. It is 3 dots. Whether from dire need, to keep a low profile, or a true moral conviction, Salubri are often paragons of self-control, a trait that can rub off on others. Once per session, The Cyclops, I'm gonna call them unicorns, fuck you.
Mhm.
Once per session, the unicorns. That sounds so much better. I'm sorry. Can
Also,
receive-
they have 3 eyes. They're not Cyclopses.
I know, right?
They're Triclopses.
Yeah.
They're Triclopses. Fucking...
Yeah, I'm a Biclops.
Me
Mhm.
too.
The unicorn can restrain the beast of another coterie member in their presence, enabling them to reroll all, if only all, of their hunger dice in a test for free.
That's
Oh,
cool.
dang.
That is super
Yeah.
fucking helpful.
That's wild.
Hell yeah. So that's the first part of Clan Salubri.
That is a big boy. We are over 2 hours.
I am so sorry. I
It's
tried.
okay.
That's okay. I'm sure a lot of it, was just us vamping too. So.
There's a lot of us vamping, but there's also just a lot of bloodlines.
It's a lot of info.
There's a lot. Considering the clan that basically got annihilated 800 years ago, there's so much shit. So
I'm scared for next episode.
it's not as bad as you think,
Okay.
but it's also terrible. But in a good way. Sarah had to read Kindred of the East. That's...
Was it as bad as we had feared?
We'll get into it.
Oh boy.
Thanks, Paralyze, for the music.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
thanks.
just saying. Here we go.
Yeah.
Ready? We got 3 warriors
Uh-huh.
walk in town, wearing plate mail, carrying their broadswords. Prince grabs them and is like, "What the fuck are you here for?"
Mhm.
They say, "There's a fury in your city, and we're here for it."
Damn.
I like that plot line.
Really good.
Go ahead.
You should run that.
No, someone else run that for me because I don't run vampire.
Okay.
I
fair.
want to be.
I'm here for the drama.
That's fair.
I'm not
That's
here for
that's what's good
running
about being the
drama.
ST though. You get to
make
make
all,
all
of it?
the drama.
You get to be the drama.
I know, but I like to make the drama.
You also get to point your players at each other to create drama.
That's what I've been doing in Shadowrun the entire
Yeah.
time we've been
Mhm.
playing.
That is fair.
Hello, my friend who's motivated solely by greed. Hello, my other friend who's motivated almost solely by like humanly helping people.
Mm-hmm. You
Well,
guys should work together.
yeah, you should work together.
Uh,
Wouldn't it suck if this one thing you had to do would make you a lot more money, but would also be a really scummy thing to do?
Yeah, you know it's a really scummy thing to do. Go check out our Instagram at
Yeah.
Blank Bodies Pod.
Is it scummy?
I mean, it could get a little scummier.
It is Instagram.
It is
Yeah.
Instagram.
We also exist on TikTok at Blank Bodies Podcast. We
Those
also-
are the two that matter.
those are the two that matter. We do have a Blue Sky.
It wasn't really popping
What-
when I used it
What
last.
is Blue Sky?
It's an alternative.
Oh, yeah, I
social
remember
media.
now.
Yeah. It might be popping more. We'll check back. But,
Yeah, it's been a while.
We do have a Discord with like cool community stuff. That's most of our social interaction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's fairly public. If you type in blankbodies.com, it takes us to your link tree. Boom. Discord.
Yeah, we got a whole ass website.
Got a whole ass website.
Get on
and
the website.
Also on there is a Patreon if you want to chuck us some dollar dues to support all of the research and the fucking books we've had to buy for this goddamn show. We do
There's a few of
research.
them.
Yeah.
And by a few, I mean more than.
It's more than so many receipts. We appreciate y'all's support on things. We do have a Patreon goal of we're trying to get to $500 a month so we can do 4 episodes a month.
Mm-hmm.
And also the bonus milk in World of Darkness and how it's terrifying.
That's the thing.
Mhm.
If something starts
Milk.
lactating in World of Darkness, be afraid. Be very afraid.
Mm-hmm.
If a vampire does?
If anything, really. That's
I
what the
think if
milk
a-
episode is.
If a werewolf started lactating, I'd think it'd be not that bad because they're
There'd be
normally just
people who would
normal-ass
like
people.
that, and I'm not one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But I mean, they're just normal ass people most of the time.
Yeah.
So like, whatever.
I mean, I suppose it would depend on when they're lactating, because if it's like
If they were in
around-
full Chronos and they started lactating, I would
I'd
just,
just be like,
I'd die. I
Are
would
you-
just die.
are you in Kronos and pregnant?
You're
That's
not
a
looking for
lot.
that beast milk?
No. Let's
I'm out of here.
milk
Yeah.
the
Good
werewolf
Bye.
Kronos and then go back in
Bye.
time
I don't
and give it to
wanna-
a Salubri in the Dark Ages.
Save it for the $500.
I
Okay.
do not want to give a kiss after that.
I'll do it.
Okay, all
I'll
right.
just stop.
Bye.